A lively and contentious discussion unfolded on a popular morning television program when wildlife campaigner Chris Packham appeared to discuss his unconventional choice of feeding his dogs a vegan diet. The show, hosted by Kate Garraway and Ranveer Singh, delved into various news topics, but this segment quickly ignited strong opinions from viewers at home. Chris, known for his advocacy in environmental and animal welfare issues, brought his beloved dogs, Sid and Nancy, into the spotlight by explaining how he has opted for a plant-based regimen for them. This approach, as defined by health guidelines, revolves entirely around plant-derived foods such as vegetables, grains, nuts, and fruits, completely excluding any animal products like meat, poultry, fish, dairy, or eggs. Chris passionately defended his decision, citing recent scientific research to support his claims. He pointed out that emerging studies indicate plant-based diets can be nutritionally equivalent to, or even superior to, traditional meat-based ones for dogs. He referenced a peer-reviewed systematic review from 2022 that analyzed multiple papers on the subject, concluding positively for vegan options. Additionally, he mentioned a study from the University of Nottingham conducted the previous year, which suggested that dogs on plant-based diets exhibited better overall health metrics. However, he emphasized the importance of the diet being well-formulated, not haphazardly assembled, to ensure all necessary nutrients are provided. The hosts engaged actively in the conversation. Kate expressed concern about the potential pitfalls for pet owners who might choose cheaper, less balanced vegan options without the same level of diligence as Chris. She worried that not everyone would be as conscientious, potentially leading to nutritional deficiencies in their pets. Chris countered this by explaining that in the past, people often created homemade diets for their dogs, which could be inconsistent. In contrast, the specific vegan diet he uses for Sid and Nancy was developed in a laboratory setting, ensuring scientific precision. He stressed that the key isn't the source of the nutrients, whether from plants or animals, but rather that the diet includes all essential proteins, amino acids, fats, vitamins, and other elements required for canine health. If properly formulated, he argued, such diets can maintain or even enhance a dog's well-being. Viewers watching from home were quick to voice their opinions on social media platforms, with many expressing outrage and disbelief. One person argued that dogs should have a balanced diet incorporating both meat and vegetables, questioning the long-term effects of a fully vegan approach, which they felt hadn't been sufficiently studied. Another labeled the practice as cruel, insisting that dogs are naturally inclined toward meat and that forcing a plant-based diet denies them their instincts. They suggested a simple test: place a bowl of meat next to vegan food and observe the dog's preference. Accusations flew that Chris had lost the plot, with some calling it animal cruelty and even suggesting he needed intervention for promoting such ideas. Skeptics wondered if Chris had financial ties to vegan pet food companies, dismissing his arguments as biased nonsense. Others shared personal anecdotes, like how their own dogs would always choose meat over vegetables, or recounted stories of pets ignoring plant-based options in favor of animal products. The sentiment was echoed repeatedly: dogs being vegan is fundamentally wrong. One viewer emphasized that while humans might choose vegetarianism or veganism for ethical or health reasons, imposing it on dogs overlooks their evolutionary background. Another pointed out that the environmental issues humans have caused shouldn't penalize innocent animals, reinforcing that a vegan diet for dogs feels inherently misguided. To provide a balanced perspective, the show invited veterinarian Dr. Scott to join the discussion. He acknowledged the environmental benefits of vegan diets, noting that they produce a significantly smaller carbon footprint compared to meat-based ones, which aligns with efforts to combat climate change. However, he affirmed that dogs are naturally omnivores, meaning their diets in the wild would include meat alongside plant matter. When asked if dogs naturally incorporate both, Dr. Scott explained that omnivores consume a mix, often ingesting plants indirectly through the stomachs of prey animals they hunt and eat. Ranveer directly questioned whether it's appropriate for dogs to be entirely vegan. Chris interjected to clarify the evolutionary context. Dogs were domesticated from wolves, which are primarily carnivores but do consume some vegetable matter, around 33,000 years ago. This domestication process has rendered modern dogs omnivores, capable of digesting a variety of foods. He reiterated his core point, that the focus should be on the nutrients themselves, not their origin. If plant-based alternatives can replicate the nutritional profile of meat, as proven by research and the success of his dog's diet, then it's a viable option. He urged people to shift their mindsets for the sake of their pet's health, suggesting that human preconceptions are the real barrier. This exchange highlighted broader debates in pet nutrition and ethics. On one side, proponents like Chris advocate for vegan diets as a sustainable, health-promoting choice backed by science. They argue that with proper formulation, these diets meet all canine needs without relying on animal agriculture, which has environmental drawbacks. Critics, however, view it as an imposition of human values onto animals, potentially risking their well-being for ideological reasons. The viewer backlash illustrated a deep-seated belief in traditional feeding practices, where meat is seen as essential for a dog's happiness and vitality. Expanding on the science Chris referenced, the 2022 review likely compiled data from various studies examining biomarkers, longevity, and disease rates in dogs on different diets. The Nottingham study might have tracked health indicators like coat quality, energy levels, and veterinary visits, finding advantages in plant-based groups. These findings challenge long-held assumptions, but as Kate noted, accessibility is key. High-quality vegan formulas might not be affordable or available to all, leading to suboptimal homemade versions.